it's like in there. It's like, can't even. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, I want to see it. Niki.
Ah.
Ah.
Can y'all see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hey, Boo. Congrats on Diamond.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Way to go.
I'm so hyped. I'm still like, is this real life?
Did I do this? Yes, girl. And you're going on the retreat. That's so cool.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh
Niki,
my goodness.
how are you? Are you house shopping right now?
Guys, I'm in this furniture store and I can't escape.
Are
so
you
this is like really not the best timing for me.
It looks like you're in Meridian.
I am not. I am in, this is actually Magnolia, Joanna Gaines' little spot.
Are you in Bergdorf's?
Yeah.
Girl, I know. Don't buy her stuff there. I got my chairs there, or my chairs are her stuff. And they were a little over $100 cheaper at Value City. Same chairs.
Well, I was at Burdorf and they're like giving me a price quote on a couch, but I'm like, girl, I gotta go. So I'm over in this section.
I'm sure you can find a little desk somewhere.
I know. So she may come up to me in a bit and I'm gonna have to mute you guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you want to, well, first of all, thank you all real quick for like popping on. I know so many of my girls are trying to hit Diamond right now. And I was like, if we can just get a few of us who've hit it, like at all levels at whatever time, if we can just have that, it'd be so nice to just send to them in the future. Niki, do you want to, since you're the one, that looks like a good spot.
Cute.
Do you want to, since you're someplace else other than at home like we are, do you want to like?
Do you want me to start?
I guess so. Like, I don't know really. I mean, I don't know how we should talk about how we all got to Diamond other than like we just did it.
Yeah. I mean, I can go ahead and just tell you kind of my mindset when I started and then like how it switched when I realized that it was something that was possible for me.
That'd be cool.
So I mean, and I've told this story over and over again, but I remember vividly sitting down with my very first coach, who, by the way, like hasn't worked the business in probably 4.5 years. But we sat down at a coffee shop and looked at each other and we were like, how did Stephanie Chico, who's my upline, get to Diamond? Like, how did she find 8 people that were going to do this? And then how do you get emeralds? Like, we literally, it like blew our mind thinking about, we overcomplicated Diamond, basically. Like, we made it seem like Diamond was going to be so hard and so unattainable that we just complicated it for ourselves. And so I actually messaged her that night and was like, how did you do it? And she said, Niki, trust me, you stick with the process of inviting, of, being on your own journey and sharing that openly and being super consistent on social media the way that you are, you're going to find people. And she was right. So slowly I found, my first 2 coaches, and I said that in the Emerald group, were her, who was a friend, and then my husband's aunt. And that was simply just so that I could get the recognition of Emerald. My followers would see it. They would start to see, oh, she's growing her business and things are, like happening there. And then I just started running really good challenge groups because there was nothing scary to me once I started running a challenge group about challenge groups. I loved them. Like, I loved checking in with the girls. I loved seeing their progress. I loved celebrating them, answering their questions, and getting as many as I could in there because I loved the vibe and the energy of everybody growing in friendships too. Like, I really found some good friendships in those moments. And so I had awesome challengers and they started getting really great results. And so from there, it was really easy for me to say, hey, you love Shakeology, or hey, you love, at the time it was E&E. There was no Energize.
What?
It was a different pre-workout. And I said, why don't you try this coaching thing? And I went about it from the way of the least scary option for myself and then the least scary option for them, which was, you've already purchased a challenge pack. what is there to lose? Like outside of getting a discount on the products you already love, what is there really to lose? And I would have conversations like that with people all the time. And so I got a lot of challenger signups that way. And it just slowly started to build. So, you know, I wasn't a huge recruiter. I was actively working towards recruiting. So that was a big goal because I knew to get to Diamond, you had to be recruiting. So I, you know, got to a place of recruiting probably two to four a month. After being in the business for a couple months, that was the goal. And we were always a top 50 team, even with just, you know, 3 new coaches a month, because those were quality people coming out of a challenge group, knowing the products, like ready to rock, had the transformations, ready to show it, ready to tell everybody about it. And so I slowly started to grow. And eventually I got to 4 coaches, which was halfway to Diamond at that point. And once I realized, wow, I'm halfway there, this is like doable, I just continued to add. And I did. I got to the 8 coaches. And the hard part was letting other people see the importance of growing past just coach rank. And so that's where I really started to talk to them about advancing for income and cycle bonuses and referrals and all of those things. And I started to show them how my residual income was growing through cycle bonuses, and that's what I wanted for them. And that by me helping them, my business is growing, their business is growing, their team's business are growing, like teamwork makes the dream work type of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really kind of how it happened. And I think it took me like 4.5 months from sign up to Diamond. It was like maybe 4 months. But again, that was like, I was very consistent all the time, and I still am 64 months into the business. And I mean, that's just how it happened. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like what you just said is like Success Club, just in the challenge groups, run awesome challenge groups. And I don't know.
It needs to not be overcomplicated.
Right? Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it so simple.
I'm going to mute myself and I'll listen to you guys.
Cool. Joy, remember when I saw you at Booty Yoga and you like were like this new coach, and I was like, you'll be at Diamond soon. And you were like, yeah, right. And I was like, girl, yeah, no, you'll be fine.
I do. I remember that.
I was like, go girl, run.
I remember that. That's funny. I do remember that. Okay, this is gonna sound bad, but like, what are we talking about? I'm confused. We have so many things going on. Like my brain is going from Emerald Factory to Snoop groups to
Right?
We're just basically talking about how we got to Diamond. Like,
oh, okay.
what was your mindset at first, and then what was the shift, and how did it happen?
Making the shift.
I mean, I definitely think my mindset in the beginning was that it was going to be so hard. Like, this is so hard to do. And I don't understand why people look at it that way. Now that you know it's happened and I'm there, looking back, it's like, why was that so hard? And I think that people, they really there's no emphasis on that discount coach. Like, they don't understand when you're trying to hit Diamond or whatever rank advance it is, you don't understand how everybody plays a role, and that those discount coaches, they count. And I think that we should talk more about that. Like, I feel like that needs to be a thing.
Was that your mind shift that you had when you were like, oh, I just need discount coaches?
Well, yeah, like once I was like, oh, as long as they're getting their stuff, like, oh, okay, yeah, I think it was, because then it made it, and that helped me start talking about inviting people to coaching too, because my inviting started with, you know, do you want to be a discount coach? Like, do you want to get this discount on these products? And that, talking about that made me more comfortable asking people if they wanted to actually be a coach. And I do agree that the challenge groups are so important. And if your challenge group is not like kicking, then no, you're probably not going to be successful, because most of my working coaches that came from, they were challengers in my challenge group.
Same.
Like, they were awesome challengers that were coaching, and it was like, okay, you need to, like, you should do this. Like, you could be making money because you're doing it now. Like, you're beating me to it. When it comes to like the lunchtime post, you've already done it. And so, yeah, I don't understand. I think we need to figure out what that stigma is in the beginning of why they are so intimidated by it. Maybe it's just a mindset and a confidence thing.
I don't know. My girls are like, a lot of them are like hitting Success Club every single month. And for me, like when I was like on my way to Diamond, I was calling friends and family and people who I used to work with, like everywhere, like remaking those connections. But when I was doing that and I hit Diamond, I never learned how to like hit Success Club. So that was like my setback. It was even after I got to Diamond, like I started like falling on and off for a while because it didn't, like I was having awesome challenge groups, but I wasn't making everyone get a challenge pack. So I like then had to relearn how to hit Success Club, realizing that Success Club was just where this whole freaking thing is at.
Yeah. See, that's where, like right now, my coaches are like having the worst time hitting Success Club, and I don't know what else like I can do to help them. Like, there's just nothing else. I just kind of like drew a line in the sand this past weekend and was like, you're either on the bus or you're off the bus, because I only have there's one of me. I've got 2 kids and a husband and have to have a life, and I can pour so much into the people who are willing to actually commit. But if you're not willing to commit, then I'm done. So I was like, I mean, I didn't say it that way, but I was like, you know, if you're willing to commit, then I have incentives for you for rank advancing and for hitting Success Club the rest of the year. Yeah. But to get those incentives, to be eligible for them, you have to say you're going to commit. And committing means you're going to show up and do power hours together. I expect to see you on calls. Like, I expect you to be hitting Success Club. I expect you to be present in team pages and commenting and engaging.
That was another thing that I think was huge for me, was realizing how much I needed to dive into Beatnik every single day. And I wasn't.
Yeah. And I had this thing that I had to go through recently with like Summit, like around Summit time, but making everybody understand that like we are a team, like we work together, and this will be so much easier if you would lean on each other instead of like this little group of 3 or 4 of you. Like making
they overwork themselves, and then they get the burnout feeling because they're not plugged into the things that are already available team wide.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you putting all of that on you? I don't understand.
Yeah, Simma, sister.
I don't get it.
Tristan, did you have like a mindset shift where where all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like I'm almost Diamond, or was it like I'm gonna be Diamond and that's it?
Yeah, no, I had a mindset shift. I think it was like 2 days before I hit Diamond.
And you like just hit Diamond, right? Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Like 3 weeks ago, I like wrote Niki and was like, I think I'm going to hit Diamond tonight. And my mindset shift was this. I was like, I have to stop believing that I'm this mediocre coach that can't do it. Because I think when we fall into that and we just start thinking we're like mediocre and we're not really making a change, we're not really making a difference, that's when our actions start echoing that as well. And it was when I stopped believing that I was this mediocre coach, and I was like, it was like a switch, like I can do it. I'm so close and I'm gonna do it. And I also like had to give myself grace, just like with our workouts and with our eating plans. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to take the time and trust the process. And that's something that I really had to do. I really wanted to make sure that when I hit Diamond that it was solid, it took me, I think February is when I hit Emerald. And then I hit Diamond in August. And I just really wanted to make sure that it was solid when I hit. And so I took my time and I wanted to make sure I had not just discount coaches, but I wanted to make sure I had working coaches so that I would hit the rank and then I would have that 6-week hold.
And I love that too, Tristan, because I think it's such a mindset crusher when you like can't hold diamond. That's such a like, and we've all been there. Like it's like up and down. Am I ever going to do this? What's happening? Are there any working coaches on my team? So I'm glad that although it took you longer, you did it that way.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, yeah, and I remember thinking like, how am I going to get working coaches? I remember when I hit Emerald and I was like, okay, I had one girl who actually I hit her up 3 years ago and she was like, nah. I was like, and then she came back to me 3 years later and was like, I want to join your team. And she's working and she's halfway to Emerald. And I remember thinking like, I was like, okay, how am I supposed to get working coaches? You know? And I remember talking to Niki and she was like, just your challenge groups is how it's going to happen. Like, that's how you're going to do it. And I just kept running challenge groups every single month. And I kept making sure that I was active in my challenge groups. Like, it's really easy to just kind of fall off your challenge groups and be like, oh, 3 days have gone by and I haven't posted in there, you know? But I tried to make sure that I ran a challenge group every single month and that my challengers, like, even if they weren't engaging in the group, that I was talking to them all the time and keeping up with them. And that's how I got my working coaches. They were all challengers with the exception of the one girl who came to me, you know, 3 years later and was like, I want in on this. But the rest of my team, they were all challenged. I don't know if you can hear my 1-year-old yelling, Mama. They were all challengers first. And it's when they got those results, like, and it took time. Like, they didn't become a challenger and then 3 weeks later they wanted to become a coach. Maybe one of them, but it took time. They had to actually go through the process and trust the process and get the results and fall in love with it. I had to give them time to fall in love with the programs and with the process to actually want in on the business. And then those are the people who want to run with it.
Yeah, I love that. There was I think it was at New Leader Conference, and somebody said, sorry, I have lens in my teeth. Somebody said that we have to stop. She was like, why are you, it might have been Bonnie Engel, why are you telling people that this is easy? Because it's like, it's not. Like, this is legit work. And so, like, I feel like that's two of the things when I look back at, like, some of these coaches that I have now, I'm like, that are supposedly active working coaches. For one, it's confidence. They're not confident in themselves at all. And two, I don't feel like they're being honest about this is work, this is, you know, versus this is fun and games. Like, I feel like they focus so much on that. And then it's like, was that my fault? Like, did I make it look like it was just too much fun and too easy?
Yeah.
So I've really been trying to, like, when inviting and when talking about it, to make sure that I am including now, like this is work. Like, I mean, it is going to take work to get there. Like, don't come in thinking that you're just going to hop on a unicorn and fly away. Like,
right. I think that's why personal development is so important. Y'all, I was sleeping on personal development for a good 2.5 years. I only started reading it like back in February. And I just had to talk to my coaches about it because I know that they weren't reading it. And you can tell when your personally sponsored coaches aren't reading personal development because they're just like, they don't have that self-starting like motivation. And I was telling them, like, it's so important. If you want to go hard, if you want to stay motivated, if you want to keep fire in the ignition, like if you want to keep on fueling fire, y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Read personal development, you know? And I was sleeping on it for so long. And it wasn't until I started reading it that I was like, damn, I do need this thing. I mean, I do need this, you know? And it really does drive me for the business because we can't push other people, push each other if we are not like pushing ourselves. If our cups are empty, then we can't really move forward. And that's something that I had to share with my personally sponsored coaches the other day. Like, if y'all are not in personal development, if you're not growing, your business is not going to grow. And that's what you got to make sure your mindset is right before you think you're going to see growth.
Looking back, when we were talking about this, I was looking back at my first 8 coaches because I remember I posted like a really salesy recruiting post like after I was already diamond, and it was like all our pictures. It was like the 8 of us, and I was trying to think of like why they came into the business with me, like what was the reason that they joined me. And honestly, same as Tristan, it was girls that were on the same page
same page as me. They needed to, they needed and wanted to lose weight. And that's where I was at when I started my business. Like I didn't come in my best shape by any means. I had like 40 pounds to lose when I started Beachbody. So, 60 pounds and then 40 when I started coaching. So, all the girls that joined me were challengers and were on their fitness journey as well. Now, like looking like 5 years down the road, like the way I recruit is definitely different. And there's a lot more ways that I, pull people in and different reasons they get started and different ways we connect and that type of thing. But in the beginning, it was truly like, we're just on this fitness journey together. And hey, also let's get a discount and let's maybe, run a side business. So not all of them were active working coaches by any means. And now, like how we're talking about how like you get to Diamond, then that's just like a stepping stone and it's like what next? And then where do you go from there? Like keep moving forward. Only 2 of my original coaches are still coaches. So that's like a big like, whoa, like only 2 of them are still, there might be 3, maybe 4 that are still signed up that are like extreme discount coaches, but like only 2 of them are still around. And I actually like only 1 of them is like really actively working their business. So that's just kind of like an eye opener of I have a pretty large downline with a lot of coaches and I don't have my original 8, and I don't have my original 2 emeralds either. So it's just like a stepping stone. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think you guys all figured it out because I was like, I just need to hit Diamond. And I just called all my friends, all my homies like back home in Florida before like I moved home and I was still up in Louisville. And I was like, let's like just sign up and, and I got to Diamond, but then like I wasn't teaching them like how to build their own business. So I wasn't hitting Success Club. So then I was like falling on and off of Diamond. I was like, wait, I hit Diamond. Now what do I need to learn? And it was just like a relearning how to run rad challenge groups is what it came down to.
Yeah. I think that it's just important for people to know that, and I missed the beginning of this, so you guys already covered this, you can shut me up, but that it's like nobody builds the same way, first of all, like how I get to Diamond or how X, Y, and Z gets to Diamond doesn't have to be the same, and that it's okay to have that balance of like people that are working with you and discount coaches. Like I'm a firm believer. I know that there's coaches that are like top in the company that are like, I don't sign discount coaches up. I don't believe in them. Like, and that's their opinion. But I do think that there's a time and a place for discount coaches and the way that they can help you build. So it's okay to have discount coaches. I think sometimes people get really negative and really down and like, well, I don't have any working coaches. Like, what am I supposed to do? But it'll come, like those people will come and it's okay that you have discount coaches.
I'm with you. I agree. Because they get awesome results and it's like, well, then here, let me show you how to share a cart.
Yes.
It's important that they understand what that role is of a discount coach and that it is beneficial to them. Like, you can't necessarily depend on it, but you need to understand the role of it and know that it is, because if you have those, say you have 10 discount coaches, I mean, you could add 2 working coaches, that could happen in a week. I mean,
yeah,
that's what when Steph had Ashley Molstad on her team call, she was saying that like she almost had a sense of like a little bit of guilt. Like I built this account to Diamond with like discount coaches or whatever, and it's not, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. That's a good business move. You're building a business. Doesn't matter how you build it. It's nothing to feel guilty about if you are ready to pop Diamond and you put 2 discount coaches under your husband's account. Like that's a good business move. It's not going to be sustainable if you just rely on those 2 discount people, obviously, but don't feel like you're cheating. Like it's just a good business move.
Yeah,
that's what I did. I made my husband Emerald. I added my daddy on there. He's the coach, and like, And I'm keeping adding just so that if, one does fall off, like he'll still stay emerald. And into that warm market, like if you haven't already done that, I know it took me a while to like do that. And it's been really helpful to build my business and be able to like have these other accounts that I can control as well.
And that can make you 1-star, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, go working on that 1-star.
My
On the lookout.
My opinion on discounts is the same. Like, I always use the phrase, like, don't depend like on building a house of cards. I don't feel like you want to do everything discount all the time, because then it's like a facade, like it's like a fake, we always say fake it till you make it. Like, we're all trying to get there, and then from there we find those working coaches. But you don't want to forever be building on discounts, because long term those people, like she was saying, will fall off. But it's perfect for, where I needed Boom to be diamond and he was capping at emerald, or needed it for rank advancement or elite, or like, there are definitely a time and a place for them, and they have their roles, like Katie said.
But it sounds like none of us were really nervous about getting to diamond. Like, we all were like, no, we're going diamond, and that's it.
I mean, I was.
Were you?
Well, I see nervousness in people when they think about leadership. I feel like is where the nervousness kicks in.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, now I have to lead people. And I tell people, like, no, they're running their own business. Like, and they have Beatnik and Team Fit and like all these others. If you aren't always able to be there, like, there's always going to be support within the team. So you don't need to be worried about like carrying all the weight on your shoulders. That's not it.
I think there's kind of like a false thought process that is within the network that's like, once I become diamond, I have to create a team name and I have to create my own team page and I have to do all these things. And like, that's not true, you guys. Like, I didn't even have my own team page. I was well beyond diamond. I'm going to be honest, when I created my own team page. And I still, 5 years into the business, I am like very much involved with Beatnik. Like, we do Beatnik calls together. Oh, hi. You want to talk to me? I still add my coaches in there. And that's not something that you need to like rush to. Like, I know we always say like spread your wings and fly and be independent in the business, but like there comes like a time and a place for it. And sometimes I actually think it hurts coaches when they fly the coop too fast, because then they feel isolated and then it is all on them. And then they are the leader and they have to do everything and they don't have anybody helping, like the people that are below them aren't leaders yet or see themselves as leaders yet. So it's really just all them. So I think that's just like fake news. It doesn't have to be like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've kind of found, like our team page, like we have over 100 people in it, and like 85 people in there are all discount coaches. So what we've just founded is that like our team page has become just a page for where like announcements of different groups of different leaders are. And then all of my active working coaches, I'm putting in Beatnik.
Yeah.
And we just have a side messenger pod. That's been kind of fun. Like, totally didn't expect that to happen, but it's happened. It's happened that way. Yeah. Well, cool, guys. Thank you for doing this. I'm happy to hear how you all got to diamond, because we all just have different stories. And Katie, like what you were saying, like how everyone gets there is so different. And like, I think so many people are like, it has to be X, Y, Z, planned A through Z, and it doesn't. It's just a matter of like just consistently moving forward towards that goal.
Right. And I am like a believer too that the emerald is a decision, diamond's a decision. Like, that is, you're controlling that. Like me holding like a 6-star rank right now or whatever it is, like I can't like fully control that, because I can't control other people keeping diamond. I can help them and motivate them and hope that they do, but like those are the 2 ranks that are like like you can control deciding that you want to do that. So I think it's just, don't be nervous and just go for it.
Amen. Yeah, for sure.
Amen.
Amen.
I've been shopping this whole time.
And next time you're gonna record me, you have to tell me.
I swear
I'm
my
in-
child wears clothes, but he's drooling so much because he's teething. I'm not even bothering right now.
No.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, cool, guys. Well, happy hump day,
I know. How is it Wednesday?
right? How, like, I can't, like, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale next Thursday. Katie's so sad that you're not going to be
I
there.
know, Katie. We'll be
I
FaceTiming.
know.
Seriously, I want FaceTimed in.
Well,
Katie cracks me up because she comments on everything. Like, I'm just here for the comments.
Just letting you guys know I'm still a part of this. I'm still.
you're there, girl. You're there.
I know.
Oh,
All right, guys. I got to hop off here.
yep. Appreciate you all. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Joe. See ya.